It is 7:33 PM. We will start the March 12th Board of Trustees meeting for the New Rochelle Public Library. We do have a quorum. We have everyone here. Thank you all. I'm calling the meeting to order. Again, as I mentioned, it's 7:33 PM and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So we have an adjustment to make to our agenda this evening, and so we're going to move the public comment early in the meeting, as we have a special guest who is here. And so I'm going to make a motion for the adjustment to the agenda to move the public comment up following the resolution to adopt the agenda and before the approval of minutes. May I get a second? Sure. Seconded by Vera. Any questions, discussions? Okay, then I will call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. So I will open up the meeting for public comment. It's like we just have one. And we have a microphone? Do you have a microphone? You just have to say your name and where you are from, so we have it on the record.
Good evening. My name is Idris Scherer, and I'm from North Salem, New York. And this evening, I'm representing the Library Trustee Association of New York State. And the Library Trustee Association is a section in NYLA, and NYLA is the New York Library Association. The first time I met Lucille was not that long ago. And it was at the NYLA conference. And I noticed that so many people knew her and so many people were going up to her, Terry, for one. And I thought to myself, this is a person I need to meet. And then I found out that she was nominated very glowingly by all of you and was going to be a recipient of one of our awards. So I'm here tonight to present the plaque and the monetary award.
Thank you, Idris. I will. I'll find this.
Okay. Get the bubble wrap out of the way. There. Oh. Your phone. Oh. And the award goes in conjunction with a check for $1,500 to your library. I know you have a lot of big plans for the very near future, so I know it's going to be spent quickly and well.
Very cool. Yeah. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you for putting me first on the agenda.
Thank you, Gary. Okay. Oh, thank you. Do we have any other public comments? Thank you. Hearing none, I will turn the floor over to my colleague, Rhiannon, for approval of the minutes.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. We have 4 sets of minutes we have to approve tonight. All the minutes were shared ahead of time with the board and comments were addressed. And so I will go in order of the meeting times. So I will start with the minutes from the February 12th board meeting, and I will make a motion for the board to approve the minutes.
So we have a motion on the floor to approve the February 12th regular board meeting of the New Rochelle Public Library. May I get a second? Seconded by Falah. You can do the next one. Any questions or concerns? All right, we'll call for a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, passes unanimously.
All right,
Rhiannon.
moving right on to the minutes of the February 12th emergency board meeting. And I will make a motion to pass the minutes of that meeting.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to pass the minutes of the February 12th emergency meeting. May I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Corey. Okay, any questions or concerns, discussion? All right, I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes unanimously.
On to the special meeting on March 3rd. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the March 3rd special board meeting.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes for the March 3rd special board meeting. May I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vera. All right, any questions, discussion? Falah. There are 4 meetings.
Oh,
There's March 3rd. This is March 3rd right now.
thank you.
Okay, any other questions? All right, I will call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes unanimously. Rhiannon.
Now, moving on to the meeting, to the minutes of the special board meeting on March 4th. And I will make a motion to pass, to approve the minutes of the March 4th special board meeting.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes of the March 4th special board meeting. May I get a second? Seconded by Tatiana. Any questions, concerns? Karim? Yenny, any questions? All right, hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Did you both vote? Tatiana? All right, let's call for a vote again. I'm going to call for a vote for the motion for the March 4th meeting. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, great. Motion passes unanimously. Thanks, Rhiannon. All right, we will turn over to regular business and our report from the library, our Westchester Library representative.
Good evening. So as we've sort of spoken about for the last 2 months, again, the issue of hoopla content came up. So the expenses keep increasing and are not sustainable at this current level. So for January of 2026, the monthly cost of WLS was over $60,000. That was just for hoopla for 1 month. And obviously at that rate, it would be $750,000 just for that one service. So we've been encouraging member library staff to share information with patrons about other digital resources that we use, such as Libby, Comics Plus, Canopy. Libraries can fund additional hoopla borrows for their library card holders above the 3 borrows that are funded by WLS. At the end of each month, libraries that choose to offer 4 more total borrows will only pay for their library card holders borrows that exceed the 3 monthly borrows currently provided by WLS funding. So far, only the Briarcliff Manor Public Library is the only library that's provided additional borrows. So if New Rochelle is interested in that, that might be one avenue to explore. As with hoopla, the growing demand for Canopy tickets is also not sustainable for the similar reasons. WLS is working with Canopy to try to offer interested member libraries with the option of providing additional tickets for their library patrons in the same way that hoopla is able to do so. Since late last year, the IT department's been working on addressing the need for Microsoft Office productivity suites for the libraries as a kind of an advanced software. Last year, Microsoft discontinued several of their grant programs and forced users to select a paid service or change their software completely. The WLS IT was able to leverage our status as a large organization and work with our vendor to acquire new licenses for the users who needed the more advanced version of Office. In terms of trustee educational opportunities, There's a few coming up, 5 to 6:30 p.m. It's Thursday, April 16th, 2026, hiring and evaluating library director. Wednesday, June 17th, laws and regulations. And then Thursday, October 29th, 2026, duties and responsibilities of key officer roles.
Thank you, David. Any questions for David?
Yeah.
Hi,
Questions are
David.
always good.
I've heard, thank you, Lucille. I've heard that, that I know that this has been an issue that's not plaguing only WLS, but other parts or other libraries within New York State. Is there a wider, like, sort of group or some way that we can work together throughout the, like with NYLA to try to either negotiate the rates or to see what can be done? Because it's becoming increasingly popular.
That's correct. I think honestly, the most cost-effective strategy is doing with this, where you're paying individual borrows beyond the minimum. I think that's the kind of the most cost-effective, realistic strategy, because then you could cap even within the library how many borrows you want, rather than a system-wide thing. It's almost become too popular, the service, so to speak, I mean, it's great that there's high utilization, but the cost is just prohibitive. But I would say to just increase the number of borrows, depending on what funding level you're able or willing to do for the patrons. I think from a realistic perspective.
No. It's helpful.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right.
It's like we spoke about last time, it's like a very small percentage of users
Right.
that are using a disproportionate amount of the content, and that's what's kind of throwing it
Right.
off.
Right.
So it's an imbalance in terms of the cost of
Very
being
ex-
paid
yeah,
versus
A
the
very
the
tiny
usage.
percentage of patrons are overutilized.
Right.
This way I put it.
Yeah, that's helpful. It's disappointing for any cuts, but helpful to get an understanding of the context.
Yeah, with Briarcliff, they claim it's been successful, kind of doing the individual borrows.
Mhm.
So it's something to consider.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other questions for David? Okay, thank you, David. All right, we are moving on to the president's report. It might be a little long, but I'm going to try and be brief. I realized that I should have actually made this comment when we had our guests in the room, but I'm just going to make it now for the record and a little after the fact. So, but I did thank Idris already for coming all this way. And I also just wanted to thank the Library Trustee Association section of the New York Library Association. And with that, the support of all of you, my fellow trustees, and our amazing, no longer new, but always amazing library director, for your support and the recognition of this award. And as Idris said, this gift will definitely be put to good use for New Rochelle Public Library. And I'm so happy to know that there is just a little bit of support that we can get for the library. So, and I'm really especially thankful to you, my fellow trustees, for entrusting me with the responsibility of serving as board president. And as you know, I might be slightly tightly wound, but I do take that responsibility very seriously and do now and continue to remain committed to working to strengthen how our library, how our board works together in our efforts to ensure that the library just continues to grow and thrive for generations to come. And it takes a village, and this is our village that work together to improve the library. And he's gone now, but I can tell you all that I could not have begun my presidency effectively had it not been for Terry Kirshner of WLS and all of the phone calls and questions that he took as I started as president to better understand Robert's rules, how to run a meeting, how to have board retreats, and how we could just do our very best as we had a new director coming into the library to support her to do her best. And she continues to push us to be better. So between Terry and the advice of peers and colleagues of other libraries, I had a kind of crash course into being the president of a library board. And again, I certainly could not do this work without all of you, all the time, effort, and dedication. I think it's always important to remind folks that we are all volunteers and we do a lot of work for this library. And the work we do is not always easy, but we do share that common goal to continue to improve New Rochelle Library for our community. And I am just deeply honored to work with all of you. So thank you for that. I'm also going to give, and I just want to thank my family for being here, the majority of them. My boys. So I also just want to give an update on the basement cleanup and our spring cleaning. I just want to again note for the record that we had a really lovely letter in the February newsletter of the library by our director, Eugenia Shatoff. And so for the public listening, please make sure that you read that newsletter to get an update on all of the really good work that was done in our basement for our basement cleanup. I'll let Eugenia talk specifically about all of the work and the efforts that were done there in cooperation with the Friends of New Rochelle Public Library and the continued work that we need to do with regard to cleanup and safety remediation in the basement, and that we're very proud that as we did the work for the removal of different kinds of materials in the basement, there are a number of folks that now found a new home, which is very, very important to our values as a library. So I'll let Eugenia speak more to that in her director's report. Finally, I just wanted to note that the board did have a board retreat on February 24th as we talk about our audit and financials and to be updated on various work around the library. And that is all for the president's report. I will turn it over to our director. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. So this has been brought up previously at board meetings, but I did want to announce that we officially secured and received the big check for the $1.1 million from New York State for, this is a moment. We all should take a moment. So this was secured for critical building improvements, thanks to the advocacy of Shelley Mayer, Natalia Fernandez, Steve Otis, and Amy Paulin, as well as the assistance of our Finance and Audit Committee Chair, Rhiannon Navid. It includes the roof project, as well as theater roof and entrance renovations and upgrades to our chiller system to hopefully allow us to remain a cooling center for several more years to come. And all of this continues to keep the building safe and comfortable for our over 750,000 visitors a year. Regarding the spring cleaning at the library, it's definitely going on. Behind the scenes, we completed our basement cleanup and safety remediation project. That's been mentioned several times within these board meetings as well, but I also, again, wanted to reiterate that the cleanup efforts significantly helped improve safety conditions. It addressed safety priorities and ensured that the area remains well-maintained and functional. I wanted to extend my deepest gratitude and thanks for the support, flexibility, and partnership of the Friends of the New Rochelle Public Library. Their long-standing dedication continues to enrich services, programs, and collections for residents. I wanted to thank all the volunteers who helped with this important work, sorting books, boxing books, helping to clean. While the basement materials have now been cleaned up as part of the safety initiative, the Friends remain fully active and engaged in their vital work supporting the library through advocacy, fundraising, and volunteerism. And as part of the cleanup process, the Friends identified hundreds of books to keep for the book sale and books for removal. And the books that were identified for removal were responsibly donated to Bay State Book Company, which is a company that our library has had a relationship for over a dozen years at this point, as well as the Friends. And they are a trusted partner that works with libraries throughout New England and New York. And they sustainably manage unused books and extend the life of materials through reuse and redistribution, saving thousands of books like ours from landfill, which is very important to us. As a library as well. I also wanted to personally thank our maintenance team for their care, professionalism, and hands-on assistance throughout the project. We could not have done any of it without them. And again, I wanted to extend deep gratitude and thanks for the friends. The successful completion of this work reflects our collaborative spirit that defines our library community. And with this important project complete, we're looking forward to continuing to work alongside the friends in support of our shared goals and future initiatives in our New Rochelle community.
Thank you, Eugenia. Moving on to the treasurer's report. With respect to this item, we must note that the office of the treasurer is currently vacant. So there is no report to review at this time, and the board is moving forward to appoint a treasurer. So per our bylaws, just wanted to note that the treasurer is a part-time employee who serves at the pleasure of the board, as well as a sworn officer of the corporation. This is an important position. We continue to work on this, and the treasurer will be playing a key role in numerous upcoming critical initiatives. All right, moving on to board committee reports. Budget and Finance Committee, Rhiannon.
All right, you guys buckle in.
Move that closer.
3 pages. All right, here we go. So we, as Lucille mentioned, we had a board retreat on February 24th where we received an in-depth report from our first ever conducted independent audit. And all board members had a chance to ask questions. And we also reviewed the final 26-27 library budget. And again, with board members having a chance to comment and ask questions. The Budget and Finance Committee also met on February 25th, with the majority of the meeting being dedicated to receiving an in-depth report about the internal controls audit, which was conducted by the same audit company, but it was a separate audit. So I'm going to go down the list of initiatives that the committee has been working on. The topic of the treasurer, as we have a engagement letter for Michael, still can't say his last name. Custangay, from Branica Solutions, who, as you might recall, was an impressive candidate in our last round of interviews. We brought him back for this round of interviews, and he really proved to be exactly what we're looking for. So we are hiring him as a financial consultant, with the option to then also take on potentially the role as treasurer down the road. But he's helping right now with putting into place, as we're financially becoming independent from the school district, he's really helping us put into place all the systems and processes that we need to make that happen, and to really apply all the learnings from the internal controls audit, which I'll get to in a minute. And so we have the engagement letter. It was shared ahead of time with the full board. And so I now have, and by the way, his official start date is March 23rd. I have a very brief resolution for the board to consider and hopefully approve, and I will read it right now. Whereas the board has identified a qualified consultant to continue the work of critical fiscal matters, be it resolved to approve the director signing the proposed contract with Branica Solutions. So I will make a motion to approve the contract as presented ahead of this meeting.
Great. Thank you, Rhiannon. We have a motion on the floor to approve the contract with financial consultant Branica Solutions. May I get a second? Seconded by Tatiana. Any questions or discussion? Nope. Okay.
Good. All right.
Hearing none. Wait.
Sorry.
Hearing none. I'm going to call for a vote. It's so eager. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
All right. Moving on to the general audit. As I mentioned, we reviewed it during the board retreat. And then at our special meeting on March 3rd, we took a vote to approve the audit, which was, I made the motion, was seconded by Tatiana Infante, and the motion was approved unanimously. And while we're on the topic of audits, I will also briefly speak on the topic of the internal controls audit, which, as I mentioned, was presented to us to the Budget and Finance Committee meeting at the February 25th committee meeting. And we had representatives there from the Bonadio Group who gave a comprehensive presentation on their findings of the internal controls audit. Am I boring now? Which was again conducted for the very first time here at the New Rochelle Public Library. And this report provides the library with baseline information necessary to understand the risks that were discovered with the current system of internal controls. The auditors did highlight several areas of concern in the current controls environment and made recommendations on how to lower or eliminate risk moving forward. And this is something that will be shared with the full board, and there will be opportunity for you to ask questions. But the recommendations included developing detailed policies, hiring an IT director, and separating school district involvement, which we're already on a path to doing that. So a lot of the many of the concerns that were noted during this internal controls audit are being addressed with the separation from the school district, and are also already being addressed by the library director and her admin team. So Eugenia during this meeting really noted and emphasized that the recommendations from this internal control audit will serve as a roadmap for changes that will be implemented to the library system of financial processes. And so there will be, the general audit will be an annual occurrence moving forward. And Eugenia recommended performing another internal controls audit next year to really get a read on the changes that will have been put in place by then, for us to really see, how far we've come in this year in implementing the recommendations from the auditors. And there was a conversation about making sure that the library staff will be trained to understand the changes of the financial processes that will be implemented. And so that is it for me on the audit. Moving on to the 26-27 budget. As I mentioned,
Deep breath. Here you go. Deep breath.
Oh yeah, I got this.
Okay.
You guys just okay. The budget was presented at the board retreat, and then at the March 3rd special board meeting. There was a resolution presented by me to approve the 26-27 fiscal year budget resolution number 2026-0303, and it was approved unanimously by the board at the special board meeting. Moving on to infrastructure bond. And this was really primarily addressed at the special meeting on March 4th, where we had a very in-depth discussion as a board about this infrastructure bond that we are going out with. And it's a $55 million bond. This has been mentioned before in previous meetings. But we were waiting kind of on additional information about the financing and the tax impact on the average taxpayer in New Rochelle. And the 25-year financing option, which is the board's preference, would mean approximately $204 annual increase in taxes for the average household. That comes to about $17 a month. This budget, the scope for the bond is directly based on an estimate provided by CalG, which took into consideration a space use study conducted in 2019 that very clearly laid out how the infrastructure of this building that is now 45 years old, that much of the infrastructure has well exceeded its useful life, and there are safety concerns with the infrastructure, and the bond scope includes addressing these infrastructure issues in addition to a renovation of key spaces within the library, a phase renovation of spaces that really also have not been updated in many decades. And I was able, so a lot of discussion around that. At the March 4th meeting, I introduced a project secret resolution, which is something that when you move into a building renovation project like this, the board needed to address and pass. And so we addressed the secret resolution at this meeting, and it was approved unanimously by the board. I then introduced a resolution requesting the school district to hold a special meeting to vote on the proposition. To hold the bond proposition for us. And this motion passed in the board 6-1. I had an opportunity tonight to go in front of the executive session of the school board and walk them kind of through the project scope, the rationale behind our bond. And they will be voting on this matter at their next meeting, March 17th. There is the last thing that I want to accomplish tonight is there's an MOU, a cooperation agreement between the school district and the New Rochelle Public Library for this library capital project. This MOU was sent to the board ahead of this meeting. You had a chance to review it. Some questions, concerns were addressed. And so I would like to make a motion tonight to approve this MOU to be sent to the school district to keep moving on this bond project.
Okay. That's it. Okay. Thank you, Rhiannon. There's a lot of work done in a short amount of time. We have a motion on the floor to pass a memorandum of understanding, an MOU for the corporation agreement with the school board. Is that correct? Yeah. May I get a second for that? Seconded by Corey. Okay. Any questions or discussion with regard to that? Nancy has a question.
I had one question on the bond MOU. It was
Just speak up or.
sorry, it was on page 3, Virginia. And I just wanted to know, it is the paragraph that starts, all of the costs associated with the borrowing made by the district on behalf of the library shall be borne exclusively by the district. I just want to make sure that's correct.
I think that's correct.
It is. Or it's by the library.
That's true. They're bearing the
The
cost.
district takes the bond.
Great, that was my.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. Okay,
Mhm.
no problem then.
Great.
All set.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that concludes my report.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
we have a
sorry.
motion on the floor. Any other questions? Okay, then we will call for a vote. All in favor of passing the motion for the MOU, approving the MOU? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes unanimously. Rhiannon, is that the end?
Now I'm done.
No, you're done. Thank you so much. That's seriously, that's a real heavy lift. And appreciate all the work and effort that you've been doing on this. And we're entering into a very exciting time. Okay, buildings and grounds, Corey. Oh,
I think we've covered a couple of things, so I'm not going to be repetitive. Basement project, we've already been updated on. Obviously, we're still working with the Friends just to make sure that our relationship is working in the right direction of supporting each other's goals, because they've been obviously a contributor to the library, and we want to keep that relationship going. Obviously, the library project updates, we do have a facility master plan kickoff next week. Children's Gardens project, which has been going on, is on hold. And will continue more towards the third quarter. See, we've also had a proposal for the Creative Studio installing the modular pods that project will be towards the third quarter as well. Bond planning, we've had a lot of discussions about that, so I think everyone's pretty clear on where we are with the bond. And I think that's it. The only thing I would add is doubling down on what Rhiannon said. The building is 45 years old, just from the useful life of a building, and also keeping up with the times that we're currently in. We're about 20 years behind where other libraries and other communities have, improved or renovated their facilities. So just want to double down what Rhiannon's saying. This is a very important opportunity for us. It took us a while to get here. It's from 2018, and we're finally here in 2026. So thank you.
Next B&G meeting?
Next B&G meeting is April 3rd, Friday.
Great. Okay. Thanks, Corey.
Yeah.
Community Relations, Nancy and Vera.
The Community Relations Committee did not meet in the past month.
Thank you. Personnel Committee, Tatiana?
I would like to make a motion to approve consent agenda for the personal resolutions number 202507 1 through 2, according to the recommended action for each item. The board was provided this on the board packet.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So we have a motion on the floor to approve the consent agreement for 2025-07, 2025-07-1-2. Is that correct? For the recommended actions,
1
is
through
that
2, yes.
1 through 2?
Yes.
Yes, okay, great. May I get a second on
I'll
that?
second.
Seconded by Rhiannon. Any questions? Regard to that? Okay, call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passed.
The personnel committee next meetings will be on Wednesday, March 18th.
March 18th.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you, Tatiana. Blah, personnel, policy committee, sorry.
Thank you. The policy committee met on Monday, March the 2nd. Thank you everyone for attending. Some of the policies that we discussed were our tabling policy. Obviously, we always go through a tracker just to see where we are and what our upcoming policies will be. We discussed at length our tabling policy and have that one ready. We will not be presenting it this evening, but we will, that will be on the docket for our April meeting. We discussed bulletin board, and we will be talking about programming. And then we also have some additional policies that we're going to be discussing this month, which are going to be the workplace violence prevention policy. And also the confidentiality of library records policy. Our next meeting is going to be this month. Again, so we'll be meeting a second time this month, but it will be the final Monday of the month, which is March 30th. And that'll be at 9 a.m. After that, we'll be moving to the final Monday of the month, which will allow us time to work on the policies, get them to the attorneys, have them returned, and get them out to the full board in advance of our monthly meetings. So I just wanted to mention that, and also just a quick note to say, while policies don't exactly seem like fun, as we heard before with the internal audit information, it's really just one of the, it's a foundational part of the library of any organization, and definitely of our library. So I thank everyone who's on the committee, who's working with it, and I look forward to working with Buildings and Ground
and also with finance on those policies as well. And thank you.
Thanks, Phila. Any questions for Phila? Okay. Moving on to approvals of checks and warrants.
Yep. I have the consent agenda for checks and warrants in front of me, and I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda for checks and warrants for the fiscal year 2025-2026. Warrants number 32, 33, 29, 34, 35, and 36.
32, 33,
29, not
29.
in order. 34, 35, and 36.
Okay. There's a motion on the floor to approve the consent agenda for the fiscal year 2025-26 for warrants.
Check and warrants.
Checks and warrants 32, 33, 29, 34, 35, and 36, right? Those are not.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, great. All right, may I get a second on that? Okay, seconded by Vera. Any questions or discussions? Okay, all in favor, call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, passes unanimously. All right, are there any additional resolutions that did not come up during any committee reports? Nope, hearing none, we'll move on to old business. There's no old business that carries on from the last meeting, and so we'll move on to any new business.
Okay, no, this,
Okay.
New Rochelle Library made it to the final stage on the Best of Westchester magazine. Oh. On the category of fun and leisure. So tomorrow is the last day, please go and vote. So we can, tomorrow is the last day for voting. So we will know, maybe we'll be the Best of Westchester. this
Okay,
year.
that's great. All right, so we'll put it out there for anyone listening to please go and vote for the Best of Westchester for New Rochelle Public Library. We are one of the finalists, and we need everybody to engage and vote for fun and leisure for New Rochelle Public Library, because we do have some of the best programs.
Social media.
Okay, yes, and post it on your social media. Thank you, Tatiana. All right, anything else in new business? All right, then I will make a motion for us to adjourn the March 12th monthly meeting of the New Rochelle Public Library Board of Trustees. May I get a second? Seconded by Corey. Call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. We are adjourned at 8:15 PM. Thank you,
Thanks, Rob.
everyone.